Welcome to your 12-day reset core video. I'm Abigail. I'm an anti-diet health and fitness coach. And for today, you're gonna need the floor. So if you don't get on the floor, you can also do all of this on a couch or a bed. You do not have to lie on the floor. Also, check out my modifications if you have any issues with it. First, we're gonna start with low back press downs. So I want you to get into constructive rest, knees up towards the ceiling, back on the ground. And you'll notice that we have like a little arch in our spine, just naturally a little arch in that spine. So for a low back press down, the goal is to flatten the spine against the mat. So all you're going to do is press your back into the ground to flatten it against the mat or the couch, and then release. That's it. If you need a little tactile sort of feedback, you're going to slide your hand underneath your back. And you're going to do a little press and squeeze your hand into the floor and then release. So you can choose. You can put your hand underneath. If you feel like you got it, you can take it out. You can also see while I do it, even though I'm not moving my hips intentionally, as I press my back into the ground, my hips are kind of tucking under, right? So we're doing like a little pelvic tilt here, which we do all the time and need to do in lots of moves when we are engaging our core, whether we're lifting or not. So take that time to really focus on this and fix it. This is one of the foundational movements that our body does, which is controlling, tilting the pelvis. So we're gonna do 10 of these with the breath. So what I want you to do is you're gonna inhale, relax, and then exhale, press the spine. Inhale, relax. And I want you to think of really syncing with your breath. So exhale, exhaling all the air out. And then inhale, relax. So go at the pace of your own breath as we do these 10. Exhale, push. Inhale, lift. And you'll feel your core engage, your lower pelvis engage. And that's what we want, right? We want to control those hips by pushing the spine into the mat. We don't naturally have a flat back, so you kind of have to modify your body to get that back to flatten out. Now, if you've ever done core exercises, often instructors will say, make sure your back doesn't come off the mat. This is what they mean. They want your core to be nice and engaged. They want your spine to be flat against the mat. It's also a little bit meditative. I don't know about you, but I don't take a lot of time to do some deep breathing in my life. I'm not great at slowing down. It's something I'm working on always. And so this just allows you to kind of slow down. Next, we're going to do modified dead bugs. So you're going to press that back into the ground, right? Keeping it nice and flat, activating your core. We're going to take your legs to a 90-degree angle. And I want you to think of your hip as a dial, tapping it down and then pulling it up. And that's all you're going to do is you're going to lower leg tap and up. And you can actually see that trying to keep my back on the ground while doing it, you could see that quake happening, which is great, right? That's what we want. It's okay if it's work. That shake means your core is working, it's on, it's active. We're gonna do 10 of these. Now inhale, lower, exhale, press. Inhale, lower, exhale, press. And relax, trying not to let that back come off the ground for those 10 reps. Now we're going to flip over and do a low plank hold. Check out my modification if you will not be doing this on the ground. That's totally fine. So you're going to take your arms out straight, pull them back so your thumbs are right in front of your shoulders. You're going to pull your legs up, and you can see actually as I tuck my tailbone, the gap gets a little bigger, right? So that's what we want to do once we're up in our plank. So from here, press up. And then you're gonna do that same tuck. You're gonna pull your pelvis towards your elbows, pull your elbows towards your pelvis, but you're not going anywhere. And that pull and that tuck is gonna be there. Make sure you push the floor away with your elbows. There's lots to do. And then just breathe. A lot of people wanna hold their breath through a plank, and I don't recommend it. Hold on, we're almost there. Push. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Nice job. Next, we're gonna go back to lying on the ground in constructive rest to get into a glute bridge position. Now, some of you might think, glutes? Is that my core? Yes. So, you're gonna pull your feet as far back as is comfortable towards your butt. Now, what we're gonna do is you're gonna start with your low back press down. Press, squeeze the glutes before you even do anything. And then you're gonna lift. And instead of trying to lift your hips as high as possible, I want you to think of stretching your knees long. So you're making sort of a flat launching pad. And then you're gonna roll down your spine first and release. So we're gonna do 10 of these, nice and slow. Low back press down, squeeze your glutes, roll up, reach your knees long, and reverse that, roll that vertebrae down. I kind of think of it like your vertebrae, like you're pulling tape up off the floor, you know? You're kind of like peeling it, and then you push it back down. All right, there's 2. You're gonna exhale, press and squeeze, and inhale, release. Nice and slow, reconnecting with the movement. See if you can feel this mostly in your glutes, a lot less in your hammies or your quads. Think of pressing your toes into the ground as well as your heels. Now we're going to do a standing lateral crunch. So when we think of the core, we're thinking of not only does it curl forward and back, but curling side to side, right? Not only controlling the pelvis, but using your core to move sideways or rotate. So we're gonna work on the sides right now. So I want you to think of your rib and your hip, right? I'm so short that I can get them both in one, but think of like where they are, right, on your body, your rib and your hip. What we're gonna do is, as you lean away in this lateral crunch, they're gonna get further apart. And then you're gonna squeeze them back together. So instead of thinking of like, oh, I'm leaning here and pulling up here, think of your rib and hip doing it. We're separating them and coming back together. We're gonna do 10 on each side. So inhale, exhale. As you get the hang of it, you can begin to add weight. If tipping this way feels a little too unstable, you can sit down and do this. But always think of that rib and hip, right? That's what's doing the work. We're extending and contracting. Other side. Here we go. Find your rib and your hip. Setting up for the other side, we're going to reach towards the floor and contract. And again, even if you can do this with weight, I really recommend trying all of this sort of without weight, really focusing on what's activating, what's turning on, right? This is the time to reset, to come back to foundations, to come back to your body and reconnecting with how it feels to move, where you feel it. Sorry, keep going. I got in my soapbox. So it's okay. It's okay to do it without weight. It's okay to sort of take it back to foundations. Honestly, it's not just okay. I really encourage it because you begin to sort of be like, oh yeah, I've kind of forgotten about my form. I'm rethinking about how to activate stuff, and that's wonderful. That's why you do this. I personally try to come back to foundations once a year, which is why I thought I would include all of you in this. So that was the end of our core video. Thank you so much for being here. Honestly, it is an honor to work out with you, and thank you so much.